Fitness. Today I'm going to make a video on trigger point therapy. I've introduced this using the lacrosse ball and the roller to a couple different clients, and whether it's my youth kids for sports or my adults. The one thing is a lot of people forget some of the things if they don't do them over and over again. Big thing about it is when things to remember 2 times at a minimum when you first wake up and before you go to bed. Just because when you wake up, you get the blood flowing, get everything moving. Before you go to bed, you've been sitting all day or you'd worked out and you open up the spaces. Big thing about the ball, it opens up the areas that get tight. The roller lengthens the muscles, get the blood flow going, gets that lactic acid moving out of the spot so you recover a lot quicker. You do it at night or before you go to bed, because when you sleep, that's when your body recovers. It's the most essential time, hence why they say 7 to 8 hours sleep for body fat, everything else. But it's also a time for your body to recover, and you want to recover in the most open position versus the most closed position, so you have to rip it back open again. Things to remember, typically 4 times, whether it's the ball, doing it, rotating it, going across, just a minimum number. Roller 4 times in the different areas. Always do both sides, just don't do one. Keep yourselves equal. The biggest thing is 4 is just a minimum number, just something that came up with the trigger point. Reason to listen to me, had partially torn rotator cuff while I was in the military for 20 years, just from lifting. But in Afghanistan, had bad knees, bad ankles, broken bones. I got introduced by a good trainer, good self-repair, and it's a good maintenance thing you can do on a daily basis. Do it before you train and rolling after you train at a minimum, just to get the blood flow going again. Total could take 20 minutes out of your day if you're training. So not very much for a long-lasting thing. This does not take it away from massages and stuff like that. This is just like daily maintenance you can do. Eventually you may have to go a little bit deeper, but the points I'm going to show are some of the minimalist ones that I found that if you do work great. There's always a lot more, but I'm just going to show you with the basics. Thank you. Hope you get a lot out of this, and see you in a bit. Okay, so we're going to be doing the shoulder and the chest, which is actually something that ends up getting tight. A lot of people have neck pains just because everything's pulled forward. So we're going to rotate in that stopper between where the shoulder and the pec meet, the chest, rotate it 4 times, and then we're going to go diagonal from the top to the center of the chest, just like a big X, and then from the neck down and outside. This opens up the chest muscle as well as spreads it so it opens up wide. Remember, always go through this twice, and as well as make sure you're doing the other side. Just don't do one side when you're doing this. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom of the feet. Everything starts down there. Feet are tight from bad shoes. So we'll start in the center inseam, have it stand over top of it. Again, it's 4 moves up and down. You're going to start in the center of the foot. And then what you're going to do is go to the inseam of the foot, roll 4 times, and then the outer of the foot. So remember, once you go through once, 4 times, you can go through again. Again, you're going to feel a little bit of crunchiness, all the tightness of the muscles. So object is just to keep going and do this on a daily basis. Okay, next thing we're going to hit is the psoas. It's the stomping point, which a lot of people have lower back issues. They go to a chiropractor to be adjusted. It's usually just tight muscles. What is the connector between the hip flexors or our thighs to our lower back L405? What you're going to do is put the ball on one side or the other of your navel and slowly move yourself around until you find a point that's very, very tight. It's painful. You're just going to go up and down 4 times and sideways 4 times, just barely over it. Next thing we're going to do is release the hamstring. The hamstring is, we're going to sit on top of it. Again, we're going to try to find out one point that's really, really annoying, and just a ½ inch up and down and sideways 4 times. Remember, go through that twice. Go back both sides. This will help reset the hips. Okay, last but not least, the roller. So you can either put your foot on top or take it off to kind of pressure. First, we're going to do 4 times over the Achilles from the heel. Again, if you find a spot that is tight, you want to go side by side, crunch it down, and then continue through. Go back through that 4 times. Then we're going to take it from the bottom of the calf to the just above the knee. Never roll over a joint. Again, 4 times. And then we're going to do the hamstring. Same thing, up and down. And you can use a softball as well to get a little bit deeper, as well as that lacrosse ball I used. Next, we're going to roll. Then you have the little I'm going to roll to the side and do the IT band. Bring the other opposite leg up and over and use that to help control me. Just above the knee to the top of the thigh. This is going to be one of the sorest spots because pulls the knee out. This is what causes injuries. Then we're going to roll down, bring that leg out, and do the top of the thigh. Again, 4 times. If I find a tight spot, I roll side by side. Last but not least, we're going to do the inner thigh. I had to adjust to get it to the best point so I can show you. And I'm going to roll. Once I get done with the thigh, I'm going to roll to my free leg. Bring the roller out, have it parallel to the body, and bring it out to just above the knee or below the knee, and roll all the full length. Really get the inner thigh. And we do this because it will help reset the knee. Next, we're going to do the lat underneath. It can tighten up the shoulder just as much. So we're going to put it right below our arm and roll sideways up and down to the middle of our back. This will help lengthen. This is definitely good for basketball players or anybody who does stuff overhead and gets shortened. After that, we're going to do the lower back and upper back. We're never rolling on the spine. You want to make sure you're never rolling on it so you cause any issues. I keep myself very open, and so I can make sure that it's rolling the muscles and not the back.